What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only James Williams, Dog Waters, and I'm back. And we looking at all the events that happened last night when Donald J. Trump was speaking, but also some of the things that popped off today, man. Some criminal referrals going to the DOJ for the big blue city mayors, baby. It's about time somebody pays some consequences. I'm tired of it. Somebody got to pay some consequences. Need to be some consequences and repercussions. I'm calling the police. Hold on one second. We about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dog Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only James Williams, Dog Waters, and today I have the villain lighting on. Boom, 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 boom. Bum, 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 bum. That's the kind of mood I'm in. Now everybody's running around talking about the speech last night. And I'm going to say this to you. I think that was one of the best speeches that I've ever heard from a president of the United States of America. I think Donald Trump did a fantastic job of staying on point, not going too far left, jabbing when he should jab. He bobbed and weaved. He did what he should do. But the thing that's under my skin at this point in time is what last night made us come to realize is that there is nothing truly that can be done to have America on the same page. And I don't mean by the citizens of America, because the polls came out and showed that 70-something% of the people enjoyed the speech. I'm talking about in the government. You would think that the Democratic Party would surrender and say, hey, you know, man, we're off base. We got this wrong. We are in the wrong alignment. But no, they're not in the wrong alignment. Instead, let's start with Jasmine Crockett. And this, I'm gonna start with this early in case YouTube tries to try and hit it for a copyright with the music, so I can chop it out real quick. But this is what they're presenting as who should be running for president.
Oh no!
It's a cultural divide. I'ma get it on the floor.
You really about to do it?
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
They get on it like that.
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like fuck. Bust that on a beat, bro. Deep boat, any rap. He a freak though. Man down, call like Amber Lambs. Tell him breathe. Let them boys to the cross. They walk around like G's. What's up with these?
That's ridiculous. That's totally ridiculous and unprofessional. And quite frankly, niggerish. Sorry. It is. And when you see the juxtaposition, where you got the president that's literally sitting there telling you that he wants to make your ass great again, including stupid people like her. It's insane. I mean, it's utterly insane. Watch this, guys. I'm going to start with, where should we start? Should we start with Zelensky? No, let's stick to Trump's address. Watch this. This is CNN News having to accept the fact that they are in the wrong spot. And we already knew this, but we're dealing with Trump derangement syndrome. We're dealing with demonic oppression.
To the results. What was your reaction to Trump's speech? 44% of speech watchers in our instant poll tonight say they had a very positive reaction to Trump's speech. 25% somewhat positive, 31% negative. To the results. What was your reaction to Trump's speech?
Hold on. When you look at the numbers, 69% of the nation was positive. There's no such thing as somewhat positive. It's not like an ion is somewhat positive or negative. You either positive or you negative. You ain't somewhat positive. So they gave the option. It's 69% positive. And that's the amazing thing about this, is that even in, and we can go to some of this stuff from this town hall. They don't want to realign with American people in America because they're the enemies of America. And it agitates me to sit here and cover it. I almost didn't cover it. They almost just said, you know what, today I'm about to go ahead and do some trading and chill. You know what I'm saying? But it's agitating because it's clear that these are enemies of America. When you don't stand and clap for a little boy who had brain surgery, who was bullied, and the little boy gets to become an honorary Secret Service agent, but you sit there and you say Black Lives Matter, we worried about DEI, and you can't clap for a little black child because you hate the president that much, man, screw you. I'm sorry, screw you. Go burn in 17 different hells. That's how I feel about it. And I know this is why I didn't want to record a video because I'm a little agitated.
I don't know much about it. I mean, I don't really have enough.
They killed 100 million chickens. So in 2024,
that was part of the response to avian flu.
But exactly. But that also is a reason why the prices went up. Right. You know, it's not that Trump did anything about that. And I mean, it was the bird flu. They had to call the chickens. That's why the prices raised up. It wasn't Trump's fault. It wasn't because Biden had some crazy policy against, eggs and chickens. So,
I appreciate all of your perspectives.
It's amazing because truth is being spoken everywhere. And many of these panels are uncomfortable with truth. They really are. And you're going to find that as you watch more and more of this, that they're just uncomfortable with truth. Here's David Axelrod. I really wish I had the whole thing of David Axelrod giving them the business. But he's going to touch on the speech last night and how the Democrats came across.
So it's one thing to mine our differences. It's another thing to try and heal our differences. And that is, that's the difference between real leadership and political expediency.
Would it have been healing to stand for Mark Fogel? Might have been.
No, I agree. You are absolutely right.
DJ Johnson.
Well, I will do what you will not. I will say, I think there were times when they should have risen. I think what Al Green did was despicable. So
the truth of the matter is this about last night's speech, and it sums it up in a nutshell. On the screen, you see them dressed in pink, as if they represent women. There was a mother there. There were several women there who went through tragedies. One mother whose daughter was raped and ended up being killed. Girls who were severely injured with playing sports against men. And none of the pink shirt people stood up for anything that pertained to a woman. Then there was other people who were there who claimed they love DEI and they love all these things, like Ilhan Omar. When the little black boy stood up, and Ilhan Omar didn't stand up. She didn't stand up and clap. She sat there with her damn satanic head wrap on her head and looking like a damn fool. And so when you can't, in any way, shape, or form, celebrate anything that's good for America, you're an enemy to America. And that's the conclusion that we have to come to, completely and totally, as it pertains to the Democratic Party. They are enemies of America. At this point in time, they're enemies of you and your family. I mean, and that's it. There's nothing else no other conclusion you can come to. They're enemies.
But what Musk is doing seems much more indiscriminate. And I think that's what people,
Yeah, and guess what? Republicans love it. And I will just say, I think the Democrats...
Guess what? The country's bigger than just Republicans.
I know. Well, he's got over a 50% approval rating, and your party's got 21%. So he's doing okay. I think dying on this hill of defending every single federal worker, that the idea that we can't ever shrink the size of government because this sob story or that sob story, that is not going to play with the American people. Democrats gave no care whatsoever to the 10,000 people who lost their jobs when the big pipeline was canceled by Joe Biden, or the people who lost their businesses in the COVID shutdowns that went on and on and on, or the firefighters or the military that lost their jobs because they wouldn't get the COVID vaccine. No care for that. But care for government workers.
I don't want to have a part. You can take this on another show. I don't have a partisan debate about it, but we should note that there were 16 million jobs created when Biden was president, and jobs were lost when Trump was president.
Okay.
So,
and you know how dishonest that is because of what happened at the end of COVID and the restoration of
even
jobs.
during the period before COVID.
Let's just keep it real. And that was a conversation between Axelrod and Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings is a G. Let's just keep it 100% real, ladies and gentlemen. The Democratic Party is not just dying on the heel of federal workers. They're dying on the heel of wokeism. They're dying on the heel of DEI. They're dying on the heel of mass immigration. It's the problem that they have is they can't walk back. And that's what last night was a display of. When you've gone so far that you cannot walk back anywhere because everything is identity politics. And the last little grip that you have is those people who hold on to identity politics. It just shows you the true nature of this nation. I would say up to 80% of this nation does not identify with identity politics. You got about 20% that's into identity politics, whether it be wokeism, whether it be DEI, whether it be gender issues, whatever it is about 20%. That is their base. And so because they don't want to upset the rest of their base, they can't walk back because they're beholden to the lunatic, radical left lunatics, as Donald Trump said it last night. And they can't walk back. And it's a major problem because as we move forward and they continue to get decimated, the screams are going to become louder and louder and louder. Imagine, the best way to make you understand this is imagine you're a lion right now. And you're in this open field. And then there's 20 million sheep surrounding you. And these sheep just bah, 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 bah. You're one lion, it's 20 million sheep. They can't really harm you. They just bang you to death. Bah. And that's what we're facing. And the problem with all the bang is it makes enough noise to where it's totally disgusting. It's totally overwhelming and disheartening because you're like, dude, where's the common sense? There's none. There's none. Now, one of the things that I liked about what Donald Trump did was, and this guy talks about it, I'm going to let him talk about it and I explain my perspective.
I don't think anyone has ever seen a president go in there as pugilistically as he did and really take the Republicans, the Democrats head on like that. And the Democrats who came to start trouble were bullied into silence, beaten into silence by this one man who has just taken everything from them. You know, false accusations, impeachments, an assassination attempt, you know, convictions for felonies that don't even exist, that no one can name. And he has beaten them every time, and he did it again. He did it again. And I just can't help thinking that, look, in the end, the proof is in the pudding. He's going to have to pull it off. He's going to have to improve the economy. He's going to have to bring down prices. He's going to have to resolve the debt and all those things and build our military back because we're in big trouble with our military as China's military soars. But in terms of a promise, in terms of looking at a president and thinking, yeah, that guy could do that, that we now have a leader. He's an extraordinary person and an extraordinary moment. And you know, he has this way of blowing away all the kind of picayune criticisms that you can throw at him because it's been so long since anybody stood up and said, this is a great country and I will bring it to another level of greatness. Who has said that besides Reagan? Since Reagan. Right. Who has said this is a wonderful, wonderful country, which it is, and I will make it in, and I will stand up into that tradition and move it to the next step. It was an amazing thing, and I don't know, I can't help thinking, I could be wrong, you never know about this stuff, but I can't help thinking that after the press fumes and screams and roars and shakes their fists, the American people are just going to, you know, pushes his popularity up to the next level.
Absolutely. There's a couple of things that he did last night that you would have to say were fantastic maneuvers. The number one maneuver that he made last night was when he confronted them and said, there's nothing that I can do that will make these people happy. It was a moment where it's like a husband talking to a nagging, overbearing wife and saying, hey, you know what? There's nothing I can do that'll make you happy, woman. It was a divorce moment. And I think the way it landed on me was it was a divorce moment for him. But simultaneously, it ended up being a divorce moment for the United States of America. And I don't think the Democratic Party saw it that way. It was like, hey, there's nothing I can do to make you happy. So guess what? Fine. Then he starts talking about human trafficking, the lunatic leftist. To me, it was like, I want to give you guys one more shot to where, you can stand and applaud, and clap and show that you got some sense and you love America. And when they wouldn't do it, it was like, all right. And do you notice after that, he started saying, well, Pam Bondi, good luck. Kash Patel, good luck. This person, good luck. And if you're really reading in between the lines of what he was saying, he was like, all right, guys, I'm here to address the nation. We got an opportunity to come together. Do you guys want to come together with me? And they're like, nah, screw you. Homeboy stands up, start pointing the cane like a damn Al Green, points the cane like a damn fool. Let me see if I can find Al Green look like a damn fool. Looking like a damn fool. Where you at, Al Green? Looking like a fool, man. This is him coming out of this is him being after he got kicked out. Like, real talk, the whole I want to disrupt, I want to walk out, you're disrespecting the office of the President of the United States of America. Don't get me wrong, when Joe Biden was there, there was Republicans, particularly Marjorie Taylor Greene, just screaming and going crazy. I don't agree with anybody disrespecting the office of the President of the United States, especially in this position of power. There's a way to be combative. There's a way to engage in these moments. And I think everybody needs to learn how to engage in these moments. But this clown right here is indicative of why the black community ain't got a damn thing. It'll never have a damn thing. Because they had to vote for this damn fool over and over and over again. And then he gets there and he represents your district and he acts a damn fool. You should be ashamed of voting for him.
Sir, what were you shouting to the president?
The president said he had a mandate. And I was making it clear to the president that he has no mandate to cut Medicaid. I have people who are very fearful. These are poor people, and they have only Medicaid in their lives when it comes to their health care. And I want him to know that his budget calls for deep cuts in Medicaid. He needs to save Medicaid, protect it. We need to raise the cap on Social Security. There's a possibility that it's going to be hurt, and we've got to protect Medicare. These are the safety net programs that people in my congressional district depend on. And this.
So he got a elderly congressional district, and he got them all in fear. He figured this was his moment to make it seem like he stood up for them. I submit this to you, Representative Al Green. There's clearly no love and happiness inside of you at all. No love and happiness. Love and happiness, yeah. But wouldn't it be better for your constituents if you walked into the White House and sat down and had a conversation with the most popular president in the history of the United States, the most influential president, probably in the history of the world, and said, hey, I know you said you're not going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but me and my constituents are worried about these things. Wouldn't it be better if you sit down and chopped it up with the man and cut some kind of deal to actually help your constituents? Instead of virtue signaling and going into and screaming and looking like a damn fool, and ensuring that the man not gonna have a conversation with you. Because honestly, after you treated me like that, if you came to the Oval Office, I'd be like, get your fake Barry White looking behind up out of here. You look like Barry White, but his name is Al Green. You know what I'm saying? You look just like Barry White, but his name Al Green. Oh, fake schizophrenic name having behind out of here.
President seems to care less about them and more about the number of people that he can remove from the various programs that have been so helpful to so many people. It is the best way to get it across to a person who uses his incivility against our civility. He is a person who has consistently been used incivility against civility.
You dumb. You dumb. Barry White, you dumb.
I'm willing to suffer whatever punishment is available to me. I didn't say to anyone, don't punish me. I've said I'll accept the punishment, but it's worth it to let people know.
Hey, they need to hold him to this. He said he'll accept whatever punishment. I give his whatever the maximum punishment he can get is what I give him. You gonna accept whatever punishment? Let's see. We're gonna test your name on this one, Barry White.
That there are some of us who are going to stand up against this president's desire to cut Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security.
Were you saying you have no mandate? Is that what you told him?
That's what he has no mandate to cut Medicaid. None.
Is the only punishment that you were kicked out, sir? Is there something?
I don't know. Whatever the punishment is, I'm not fighting the punishment. This is about the people who are being punished by virtue of losing their health care. This is the richest.
Give him his just due.
We have people who don't have good health care. We've got to do better.
And I'm gonna say this. I'm tired of hearing Barry White talk. If you're gonna look like Barry White, you need to sing. You need to sing. Practice what you preach. You're telling me this, telling me that. Once I get with you, I'll never go back. You say there's a lesson that you wanna teach. Well, here I am, baby. Practice what you preach. That's what you need to do. Practice what you preach, boy. I can't wait to see what they do to you. Dr. Phil goes on to discuss the level of disrespect that he saw last night, which I want to be clear with you, both Democrats and Republicans saw that last night. There's people I know who are Democrats that are kind of like, yo, that was wild. They didn't need to behave that way. And it's one of those things where if you shine lights on cockroaches, they tend to scatter. Their behavior pattern was just exposed. And I'm gonna pose a question to you. How many of you have a leftist family member that you talk to them about the speech? I just want to see if this is true or how true it is, because I know it's true. How many of you guys have a leftist family member? I mean a hardcore Trump-hating leftist family member, and you had a conversation with them today, and then the demon, the liberal demon in them was triggered. The woke demon was triggered. And they got mad and got angry and was like, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, demons are manifesting everywhere. They was manifesting all over the place last night when Donald Trump was talking. And you could damn near feel it. You could look at people, you could look at the Democrats and see it on their faces. People were walking out. Clearly, Barry White is full-on demon possessed. It was ridiculous. Anyway, Dr. Phil.
And if Kamala Harris had been elected president, she would have been my president. You honor the office of the president, not the person in it.
That's what I'm saying, Dr. Phil.
And to see those people sit there and cross their arms and stick their nose up like something smells bad, I just, you know, what bothers me is how that looks to the rest of the world.
Yep.
I mean, you're in.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Dr. Phil. Like, if I'm the enemy of America and I'm sitting there and I'm like, yes, I'm going to destroy America. Oh, look at this. They don't like their president. I can work with the Democrats and destroy the nation. But they're enemies of the nation. That's why they act that way.
In the Capitol and the President of the United States to stand there, respect the office of the president. And, you know, I requested several times to interview President Biden, and it was turned down. I requested several times to interview Kamala Harris. It was turned down. And people that know me know, and people in the Democratic Party know, I would never disrespect someone that sits in the office of the president. I would not cross-examine them in a disrespectful way. Would I ask hard questions? Yes, I would ask questions that were respectful but substantive. I think you respect the office. You don't have to agree with everything the person says or does. And I thought it was bad form tonight to go into that hall and not respect the office of the president. What do you think that's bad form?
So I do. So for example, Al Green in the beginning, it's like there was no point to that. Nobody could even hear what you're saying. It makes our side look bad. There's just no point to it. It's counterproductive, right? Now, at the same time, the president also has a responsibility to reach out to the other side.
He did.
So, for example, almost everything he did was red meat, right? I'm the greatest. I'm better than George
That's not
Washington. And not only that, he'd go and to point to the Democrats, and they won't stand up, and they won't do this, and they won't do that. But, you know, we've talked about things that bring us together. So earlier we talked about negotiating drug prices, right? That brings us all together.
Let's be clear. This is Chink Unger from the Young Turks. Let's be clear. Had the Democrats decided they were going to stand when Donald Trump says, you know, when he gives them the invitation to stand, was it a backhanded invitation? Absolutely it was. But the best thing they could have done was stand, clap, be gracious, be respectful, shift the public perception of them, and then go out in the hallways and savagely go after him. That's the gentleman and gentlewoman thing to do in politics. And see, that's the problem. See, we've gone beyond regular politics to woke politics. So the honor and respect in politics is no longer there. It's kind of like, if there's, let's say you and I are talking, and there's another guy that we both don't like, and a third person comes to the conversation. They say, hey, well, James, what do you think about Dr. Phil? Now, I had all the bad experience in the world with Dr. Phil. But he Dr. Phil. I mean, he's Dr. Phil, the guy who's on TV. What's the accurate response? What's the gentleman thing to do? The right thing to do is say, yeah, I know Dr. Phil. Well, man, what's your opinion of him? Well, I really don't have an opinion of him. He's a great guy on TV. I don't get the opportunity to watch his show very often. And that's the end of it. Now, in my mind, I may be saying, you know, Dr. Phil's a piece of trash. But it's not going to come out of my mouth. That's what wise politicians do. And in this moment, they had the opportunity to show themselves to be wise, and they showed themselves to be woke. And therein lies the problem. They showed themselves to be obstructionists, political traitors. And therein lies the problem. So Chink Unger can sit here and say whatever he wants to say and say, well, Donald Trump took shots at him. Well, I mean, I'll be damned. They tried to assassinate the man, tried to lock the man in prison. I mean, in context of what has happened, the minimum he can do is take some verbal shots at him. I mean, when you really put it all in context. And so what you're saying is they can't take a little bit of what they've been dishing for the past 4 years? Rapist, grab them by the vagina, criminal, assassination attempts, talked about his sons, talked about his wife, talked about everything. Every area of this man's life has been under assault. And so Chink Unger wants us to sit here and be like, oh, he wants them to be positioned as the victim. No, you can't be the victim. I'm sorry. I think that's the thing that agitates me so much, which is why I really struggle to record this right now, even talk about this, is because they want to frame themselves as the victim. They really do. Now, mind you, there were true victims there of horrific things, and you didn't clap for them. So the fake ass victim is upset because they can't be the victim, and they won't even acknowledge the real victims. And it's the same thing that these people have been doing with immigration. They don't acknowledge the fact that the illegal aliens they brought into the nation raped, pillaged, and stole money. They don't even acknowledge it. It's why we got to this point right here, and it brings me to this. It's why this right here is going on right now. Where's Nancy Mace? I like me some Nancy Mace. Let's start with Anna Paula Luna. It's why Anna Paula Luna is referring multiple sanctuary city mayors to the DOJ for criminal prosecution, because they won't even acknowledge it. They won't. Here's my girl, Nancy Mace.
Okay, do you believe it's acceptable for illegals who commit heinous crimes be released back into the public instead of being detained and deported? Mayor Adams, yes or no?
Anyone break a crime?
Yes or no? This is not hard. Yes or no?
Anyone that break a crime should be detained.
Okay, Mayor. Yes or no?
They should be deported.
Okay, Mayor.
Any individual that
Yes or no?
causes harm
Yes or
and
no?
breaks
Okay,
the law
Mayor Wu?
should be held accountable.
This is why you have 6% approval rating, because you suck at answering questions. Mayor Wu? Yes or no?
Anyone who's a public safety threat should be prosecuted.
All right, I have my next question. Okay.
And this is the scolding. Here it is.
On your hands. I'm going to actively working to harm the American people you represent. You all have blood on your hands. I'm going to ask a series of yes or no questions today, and I would like to remind all of you, you are under oath. I only want a yes or a no to my questions. My first question, do you acknowledge breaking into our country as a crime? Mayor Adams, yes or no? Do you acknowledge breaking into our country as a crime?
I acknowledge.
Yes or no?
I acknowledge.
Okay, Honorable Johnson, he's not going to answer the question. Yes or no? Is breaking into our country against the law? Yes or no?
Depends how you cross the border.
Okay,
Some folks
Mayor
have
Johnson,
status.
yes or no?
Comprehensive immigration
that's not an
reform
answer.
policies
Mayor
are what's
Wu?
necessary in this
Mayor Wu,
moment.
do you have a better answer than these gentlemen before you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, do you believe it's acceptable for illegals who commit heinous crimes be released back into the public instead of being detained and deported? Mayor Adams, yes or no?
Anyone break a crime?
Yes or no? This is not hard. Yes or no?
Anyone that break a crime should be detained.
Okay, Mayor. Yes or no?
They should be deported.
Okay, Mayor.
Any individual that
Yes or no?
causes harm
Yes or
and
no?
breaks
Okay,
the law
Mayor Wu?
should be held accountable.
This is why you have 6% approval rating, because you suck at answering questions. Mayor Wu? Yes or no?
Anyone who's a public safety threat should be prosecuted.
All right, I have my next question. When an illegal alien rapes a woman, do you believe you're on the right side of history? Mayor Adams, yes or no?
Can we say that question again?
Okay, Mayor Johnston. When a legal alien rapes a woman, do you believe you're on the right side of history? Yes or no?
I will charge and prosecute them.
Yes or no? Okay, well, okay. You said you would go to jail, didn't you?
I will
For
charge
harboring
and
illegal
prosecute
aliens or something, Mayor Johnson?
Could you repeat your question, please?
When an illegal alien rapes a woman, do you believe you're on the right side of history?
Could you clarify that question?
Okay, Mayor Wu, yes or no?
No, rape is obviously
Then
horrible.
why are you letting rapists back out onto the streets of Boston?
That is not true. That is
Okay.
not what's happening in
when
Boston.
an illegal alien molests a kid, molests an underage kid, do you pat yourself on the back for being compassionate? Mayor Adams?
It's despicable, and he should be arrested.
Mayor Johnson?
I prosecute folks that commit crimes like that.
You guys let him out on the streets. Mayor Johnson?
We arrest violent criminals in the city of Chicago.
Mayor Wu?
We investigate, arrest, and prosecute.
You guys don't sound very confident today. Would your city honor an ICE detainer on an illegal alien who rapes kids if one was issued today? Mayor Adams? Yes or no?
In conformance with law, we will honor detainers.
Mayor Johnson?
If there's a criminal warrant, we'll help them pick them up. If there's no criminal warrant, we'll honor a notification request.
Mayor Johnson?
Criminal warrants, we always cooperate with federal agents with a criminal warrant.
Mayor Wu?
Get a criminal warrant, we will enforce.
A criminal warrant. I'm talking about an ICE detainer on an individual who's here illegal who rapes kids. Do you all hate Donald Trump more than you love your country? Mayor Adams?
I respect my president. I respect my
Yes
country,
or no?
and I
You're having the
respect
hardest time
my
today.
Senate.
Mayor Johnston?
I love my country.
Yes or no?
I love my
Okay.
country.
Mayor Johnson?
As the son of a pastor, I love everyone and this country.
Mayor Wu?
I love my country and my city.
Do you all, are you all willing to go to jail for violating federal law? Mayor Adams?
I'm not going to violate federal law, so I don't have to worry about that.
Mayor Johnston?
We don't violate federal law either.
You don't violate federal law.
We do not violate federal law.
Is it violating federal law if you don't honor detainer requests from ICE?
Absolutely not. In fact, the statute Congressman Biggs shared, we explicitly follow. The statute says you cannot prohibit city employees from sharing information about someone's status with the government. We do not prohibit that.
Do you love illegal aliens more than you love your fellow countrymen?
I love all the residents of the city and county.
Mayor Johnston, are you willing to go to jail for violating federal law?
The city of Chicago complies with all laws.
Oh, I highly doubt that. Mayor Wu?
We are not
Mayor
violating
Johnson said he
federal
was
law.
willing to
Mayor
go to
Wu,
prison.
I have a last couple questions for you. Do you believe that ICE arresting a child rapist, quote, threatens everyone's safety, end quote? Yes or no?
No.
Does ICE arresting a murderous MS-13 gang member threaten everyone's safety? Yes or no?
No.
I would like to hold up this quote of you where you say ICE's efforts actually threaten the safety of everyone, end quote, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. You're a hypocrite. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
Chair recognizes.
And it begs the point that I was talking about earlier about these people. Man, they don't give a flying flip about the American people. They're enemies of America, which is why all of Anna Paula Luna referred every last one of them to get criminal referrals. On the same subject, here's Byron Donalds. Let me tell you something. This brother right here, Byron Donalds, is such a dangerous politician that the Democrats wish they had a Byron Donalds. He really is. I mean, he's a phenomenal politician. And he's going to be a huge problem for the Democratic Party in the future. One that they will not be able to overcome. It's not possible to defeat this type of politician, this prototype of a politician. They have nothing. The only thing they have that can compare to this is Hakeem the Dream Jeffries. And we know Hakeem the Dream Jeffries ain't hitting on that.
Did your city spend on illegal immigration? Do you have a round number?
Over the last couple of years on all newcomers, whatever their status was, it's around 79 million since 2022.
79 million. Mayor Johnson, Chicago. How much has the city of Chicago spent on illegal immigration?
Billions.
If you're referring to the 2022 up to 2024 of the buses coming from Texas, roughly the same percentage of the state of Texas, about 1% of our overall budget.
What is that? Because I don't have the city's budget in front of me. Numbers.
It's 1%, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone...
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you.
It's 1% of the overall budget over the last 4 years.
That's why you're a failing
which
mayor.
is
Mayor
the same
Adams,
number that
how
was
much did
sent
the city
from
of
us
New
from
York
the
actually
state
spend
of
on
Texas.
illegal immigration? Mayor Johnson, I already asked you. You don't have a hard number, and if you don't have a hard number, you're not running your city well. Mayor Adams, how much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration?
6.9 billion of taxpayers.
$6.9 billion of taxpayer money on a problem that was fostered on the American people. Mayor Wu, in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city
You don't
services,
ask
so
about
we
how
don't
much
have
money
that
the city of Boston has spent on illegal immigration.
We
Are
don't
you out of your
distinguish
mind?
between immigration status.
Do you
as
manage
part
your
of our
budget
city
or not,
policies.
Mayor Wu?
That is how we keep
Mayor
our city
Wu,
safe.
do you manage
we
your
have
budget
the
or not?
numbers to prove it. I manage my budget. I have a AAA bond rating dating back 10 years.
So to the city of Boston,
budget.
just understand that your mayor does not care how much of your resources she has spent on people who are not citizens
The city of Boston is sick of having
I'm
people
reclaiming my
outside
time.
Boston
Mr.
telling
Beer,
us what
Mr.
we
Beer, I
need.
have a question for you because I understand Cato's perspective when it comes to illegal immigration. I understand that the Cato Institute for a long time has had a standard of actually having open immigration into the United States. Generally speaking, I don't want to get into specifics.
We support legal immigration. We want immigration to be legal.
Let me ask you this question, because one of the great libertarians of the modern era, Milton Friedman, famously said, you can either have open borders or a welfare state, but you have to choose. Mr. Beer, what do you choose?
Milton Friedman said he wanted to allow illegal immigration to continue. I disagree with Milton Friedman's position on that. We should have legal immigration and build a wall around the welfare state, not around the country. That's in the best interest of taxpayers.
And
these people real spicy to say they violated all kind of laws. Don't y'all think so? Don't y'all think they talking real spicy?
I would argue that under the current system where you have sanctuary cities popping up, it is not possible to build that wall. So America has to choose. Mr. Beer, you're done. America has to choose between securing our nation or protecting the taxpayer. I choose secure the nation. I yield back.
Yeah, this is why they're getting these criminal referrals, because these people are Looney Tunes. They truly are. And here she is, the beautiful Anna Paula Lewis.
After this line of questioning, it's very clear that these policies that you have all implicated are active and alive and well in your cities, are in direct violation with U.S. Title 8 Code subsection 1324, and it is a federal offense. But you all speak about a broken immigration system, and yet here you guys are aiding and abetting in that entire process. I want to be very clear about something. Open border policies, which is something that you guys are talking about, hurts people on both sides, meaning the people that are coming here illegally and then American citizens as well. I do not think you guys are bad people, but I think that you are ideologically misled, which is why, unfortunately, based on your responses, I'm all going to be criminally referring you to the Department of Justice for investigation. And as soon as I leave here, these will be going over to Pam Bondi. I'm not doing that in an effort to bully you guys, but I do believe that your policies are hurting the American people, and you can make that known with the evidence that you can present to the Department of Justice. But if you guys continue doing what you're doing, you're not going to help anyone. You're going to hurt more people, and that's exactly why I'm tired of it. The American people are tired of it. And Chairman, I yield my time.
Thank you, girl. Yeah. Thank you, girl. That's what needs to happen to them. Now, all we need to do is start arresting them. Prison time. And this is the thing that kills me about the boldness in which they speak. The only one that actually had some sense was Eric Adams. Let's be clear. Eric Adams is smart enough to know, hey man, I'm not going to go in here talking reckless. I'm not going to do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take this heat. I'm going to cooperate. I'm going to do what I need to do. Somebody told Eric, you know y'all going to go before a committee on this. And you know there's going to be criminal referrals. And see, Eric being the largest, most popular, iconic mayor of the most iconic city, New York, in the world, Eric needed to get it together. It looked to me like Eric Adams got it together. Now, that don't necessarily mean they're not going to put his ass in jail, but it seems like he got it together. That's what I'm going to leave it at that. Next thing, let's talk about Amy Coney Barrett. Now, another story that hit the news today was that the Supreme Court sided with some freaking federal court judge to say that Donald Trump had to pay $2 billion to a nonprofit organization. But the thing is, that same nonprofit that they were talking about, Marco Rubio, canceled the contract. So Amy Coney Barrett and the Supreme Court knew this when they did this. Because I knew it. If I know it, they know it. So what they just did was they just created a standard where federal judges can interfere with what President Trump is doing moving forward. I remember explaining this to you a couple of days ago. I said he's found a workaround to where he's just going to cancel the contract. So, and I said, this is the best way to leverage all the judges. They bring up a contract, a company sues, it goes to those judges, I cancel your contract. So I'll pay your invoice out for what's owed, I'll cancel your contract. So I'm cutting my losses. You may get $500 million out of me this month, but you ain't getting a damn thing out of me next month. The problem that you run into is if they can put together fake invoices that justify what they're doing, now we got to dispute and check and dot every I and cross every T to make sure that they can't get the money. But nonetheless, I want you to see how Amy Coney Barrett looks at Donald Trump. And I want you to realize that Amy Coney Barrett ain't right. But there's so much about body language. Watch her face. That's her looking at him. You see it? That's not the look of a woman that admires somebody. That's the look of a woman that despises someone. And see, clearly something's going on there between the two of them. I'm going to tell you what I think happened. This is just me speculating. I personally believe, this is last night where he had a speech. He knew the decision they made before they made it. He knew that she voted against him. If I'm not mistaken, ACB was the last person he put in as a Supreme Court justice. And so I think what we're seeing is the tension there based on Number one, her feelings, but number two, something he told her about what she did. Now, I'm not sure what it is, because I don't have that kind of insight. I'm not into the White House like that. But he told her something. Or the only other way I can see it is he made a maneuver to expose them. But I can't really see it being a 3D chess maneuver to expose her or anybody else, because it doesn't benefit him on the back end unless he has plans on doing something else. Could have been him testing the water, could have been a whole bunch of things. That's something we need to put a pin in and take a look at it again later, because it needs to play out a hell of a lot more. But I'm gonna tell you what, that look right there is not healthy. That's not healthy at all. That eye closed, like that deep breath, this, like I want to say something, but I'm not gonna say it. Nah, that's not healthy at all. So we may have a full-on MAGA traitor on our hands in ACB. It may come out to be a little bit more. Excuse me. Watch this. Zelensky. Now, yesterday, Zelensky wrote a letter to the president. We heard him talk about it last night, saying that he wanted peace. Then today, Zelensky come out and says he's changed his mind. He has announced that he don't want to negotiate with Russia. Zelensky is a damn idiot. I'm sorry. And at the end of the day, this idiot is being exposed. Now, y'all, we know for a fact he sent the letter. And this is what he had to say.
Нам відомо, що росіяни не змінили своїх позицій та вимог щодо України. Вони будуть вимагати скорочення нашої армії, будуть хотіти юридичну відмову від наших територій, також суттєвої політичної деформації України з послабленням української Конституції. І скажу, що насправді, поки ми всі в Україні будемо стояти разом і міцно, поки ми тут, ні в кого це не вийде. Мир буде достойним. Слава Україні! Нам відомо, що росіяни не змінили своїх позицій та вимог щодо України. Вони будуть вимагати скорочення нашої армії, будуть хотіти юридичну відмову від наших територій, також суттєвої політичної деформації України з послабленням української Конституції. І скажу, що насправді, поки ми всі в Україні будемо стояти разом і міцно, поки ми тут, ні в кого це не вийде. Мир буде достойним. Слава Україні! Нам відомо, що...
I don't really take that. Peace will be dignified doesn't sound to me like he's saying he don't want war, like he don't want peace. He's trying to save face. To me, that's what it seems like. He's trying to save face. I am the leader. I am Zelensky. Peace will be dignified, and he's negotiating in the public's eye. He laid out what he was saying. Basically laid out his negotiation.
Нам відомо, що росіяни не змінили своїх позицій та вимог щодо України. Вони будуть вимагати скорочення.
They will insist on reducing our army.
Нашої армії, будуть хотіти юридичну відмову від наших територій, також суттєвої політичної деформації України з послабленням української Конституції. І скажу, що насправді, поки ми всі в Україні будемо стояти разом і міцно, поки ми тут, ні в кого це не вийде. Мир буде.
So basically, if those are the terms that they're calling for, then he ain't doing that. But he's in a terrible situation because Trump cut off all of his signals intelligence, or his intelligence in general, to where they're not getting any intelligence at all. Here it is.
The United States says that not only has it paused all military aid to Ukraine, but it's also stopped all intelligence sharing. Now, we don't know exactly what intelligence the United States shares with Ukraine for obvious reasons, but it will mean that Ukrainian troops at the front and also civilians back in Ukrainian cities are far more vulnerable to Russian attack as a result. We also know that weaponry en route to Ukraine has literally been turned back en route this week. It may just be temporary, though. The CIA director, John Ratcliffe, has said that he thinks it will go away, in his words, this pause, now that Volodymyr Zelensky has shown himself keen to reconcile, really, with Donald Trump. He wrote him a letter on Tuesday, and we heard in Donald Trump's address to the Congress last night that he was pleased with what it said, that Volodymyr Zelensky had said that he wanted to get back to a deal under Donald Trump's strong leadership, that he would sign the minerals deal, that he was really grateful for everything that the United States had done in terms of aid.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to do that.
On Tuesday, and we heard in Donald Trump's address to the Congress last night that he was pleased with what it said, that Volodymyr Zelensky had said that he wanted to get back to a deal under Donald Trump's strong leadership, that he would sign the minerals deal, that he was really grateful for everything that the United States had done in terms of aid, and that seemed to go down well. So we'll have to see how long this pause lasts and whether it was just a part of Trump's negotiating tactics to try and get Zelensky back on board. However long it does last, though, it is just another gift to Vladimir Putin. Comes on the back of a few days ago, the Defense Secretary here, Pete Hegseth, saying that he would stop all offensive cyber operations against Russia from the United States, and also that the White House are looking into ways to ease sanctions. And so far, it doesn't seem as though Russia has had to give up anything at all.
It's amazing how everybody wants to be at war with Russia. And this is Sky News, so if I'm not mistaken, Sky News is Australian news. It's amazing how everybody wants World War III. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want World War III. And I'll tell you what it means by him cutting off intelligence. Well, Ukraine does not have the ability to know what targets to hit inside of Russia. They don't have intelligence on who's moving back and forth and around in Russia. I mean, hell, if I'm not mistaken, today, the Ukrainian president came out and said he was going to start taking and putting 14-year-olds on the battlefield to start fighting because they done killed all the men. So if I'm Donald, and this is just my opinion on what I think he's done, you disrespect me, I stop all aid. And it's the carrot and the stick. Now you getting the stick. I shut off all aid, you run to Europe. Europe tells you, oh, we got your back. They give you $3 billion. And then you write a letter. Now you did what you did publicly. You called the vice president a bitch. You disrespected me in the Oval Office, and you think you're gonna send me a letter and make it right? Nah, bro. But at the same time, I'm not gonna fall into your trap. I'm gonna parade around your letter and say, yeah, Zelensky says that he wants to do this, because I have you in a position where if you say anything to the contrary, you look bad again. The American people are with me. Clearly, the American people are with Donald Trump. And so I talk about your letter. Yeah, you know, Zelensky said he's going to come under my strong leadership, blah, 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 blah. Then I cut off the next thing. You said you wanted my strong leadership. You acknowledge I'm a strong leader, and I keep cutting things off. And I keep cutting things off until you bring your little midget behind back to America, get on national TV in the same chair in the Oval Office and apologize to the American people and to me. So you're going to cut most stuff off from him till Zelensky is broken. Because Zelensky has to be broken. That's what people don't seem to understand. The simple fact that you saw him run to Europe and run to Starmer and all the rest of these people, and they had their little coalition. Yeah, we're going to back the Ukraine. Okay. You believe that those people have your back? Here you go. Cut off your intelligence. And understand that everything that he cuts off from him, they now have to take on for themselves if they want the war. They want the war in Ukraine to keep on going. They've expressed that they want the war to keep fighting the war. They had their little coalition together. You know, we're going to attack Russia. We're going to do this. Okay. So now you send him weapons. Hold on, wait. Y'all don't really have a bunch of weapons. Now you get him intelligence. Hold on, wait. Y'all don't have a whole bunch of intelligence infrastructure like we do. So now you picking up the tab for everything. So he's forcing them to pick up the tab because Zelensky is just a pawn in the middle. So now that's your pawn? Here, take him. Take responsibility for him. In the meantime, I'm going to Russia and saying, listen, I ain't trying to have World War III. And I'm not trying to beef out with you. This is bull crap that happened. And Trump said it 1,000 times. It would have never happened under me. It would have never happened. It would have never happened under Donald J. Trump. And it didn't. Think about it. Putin bust moves under every president except for Donald. Because he know the dude crazy. So, in the negotiations, Putin has already said, hey, you can have some of our rare earth minerals. We'll do a deal with you. Zelensky said he wanted to do it, but he ain't came to the table with it yet to sign. And what will end up happening is they'll do a deal where half of the minerals are on land in Russia and half of the minerals are on land in Ukraine. It'll be a border territory where you got Americans working on the side of Russia and Americans working on the side of Ukraine. They can wave and say hello. And if anybody attacks anybody with the Americans in the middle, now America blows you up. It's the option. It's an occupation. It's an economic occupation, as opposed to what they wanted to do was put in like troops on the border of Ukraine, of Russia. Peacekeeping. It's economic peacekeeping as opposed to military peacekeeping. It's still going to have the same effect. If American citizens are there and they're mining and they're getting natural resources and they have a military base there or whatever they need, and you blow them up, that's your behind. So you can have peacekeepers there, or you can have economic peacekeepers there. Trump is trying to use economic peacekeeping. The rest of these jackasses want peacekeepers, NATO troops there, which is just an army on a man's border. Putin not gonna let you have no army on his border, man. Y'all crazy. He gonna punish y'all. It's clear. He gonna punish y'all. All right, let's get back to it. There's DJ, the little kid who's now official Secret Service agent. Congratulations, DJ. We already know Al Green was inappropriate. This is the last one I want to leave off on. Dark Crystal. Dark Crystal here is an example of the spirit that is woke. This is the personification of the woke spirit in Congress. And I want you to look closely at Dark Crystal, how it's hunched over, how it's got all the gold and silver on. She probably got an altar somewhere in that office somewhere. But I want you to look at this thing and understand this is the visual representation of woke at the highest level. Rosa DeLauro. This is it. When you see this thing, you're looking at woke.
I was really stunned that the election was fought over the cost of living and families who live paycheck to paycheck, concerned about whether or not they were going to be able to pay their bills, be able to pay for their health care, in some cases even putting food on the table. And the address tonight didn't address any of those issues about cost of living and the fact that people live paycheck to paycheck. And what we ought to be doing in the Congress is to make sure that we are helping people to secure an economic future for themselves and their families. I found the speech to be vengeful, revengeful, and instead of lifting the hopes and the aspirations of people of the United States, of how we move forward as the great nation that we are, what the vision for our future was, it devolved into just vindictiveness and self-adulation on behalf of Donald Trump. It did not address the issue of unchecked billionaires like his friend, ally, and Elon Musk. It was not a speech befitting a great...
Man, look at them damn demons in that woman's eyes. Man, y'all see them things? Look at that. Look at this. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. Look at it.
World leader or a great president of the United States.
You're not befitting of anybody that should be in government at all. You look like you need to be on a corner with a table set up on Bourbon Street, reading palms and playing tarot cards. That's what you look like. You can get your ass out of Congress right now. I'm done, guys. I'm over these people. I truly am. I'm over these people for today. I am. I'm over them.